The fifth season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series continues on. Only 5 races left until we determine the 10 teams that will have their respective drivers battle for this season's playoffs. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Seth Cole. Welcome to Martinsville Speedway, the paperclip short track, just a little over a half mile in length, as it plays host to the 22nd race of the season. Should be a good one here today. If Martinsville races in the past have taught us anything, it's really all about track position, and if we go into a long green flag run, the ability to work your way through lap traffic. Granted, we may also see pit strategy potentially come into play, and of course as well, just got to keep yourself out of trouble because everybody's going to be wadded up, very congested into these corners, not a lot of banking to be able to lean on, so if somebody blows the corner, they may not only ruin their own day, but might take you out with them as well, and things are really getting congested as well as far as who's trying to make it into the playoff grid. We currently now are sitting with about 13, 14 eligible teams of making it in through wins, and there's still about a good half dozen, maybe as many as 10 teams that still haven't found victory lane, that if they go to victory lane here today or in the upcoming 4 races, it completely changes the landscape of who's in and who's out, above the cut line, below the cut line, once again. And we've had a number of those changes here during the course of the last couple of weeks. A team that is looking to be the first 3-time winning team on the season, though, is a team that is struggling the worst in the point standings for a team that's gone to victory lane multiple times. That's a 2-time winning team out of Auto Junction Racing, the 77 team. Well, Patrick Smith has the car lined up on the pole here today. He's looking to get that car to victory lane for the 3rd time, as we've already had Roberto Crown Jr. put that car in victory lane twice. He'll be alongside of one of those half dozen teams I was talking about that if they win here today, that kind of throws a spanner in the works for some other teams. That's a 65 car out of Evans Gardner Motorsports. It's going to be Amanda Evans who's piloting that machine here today, looking for her first career chartered victory here in the Duracell Cup Series. Of course, had a non-charter victory last year at the Indianapolis Road Course, but looking for the big one here, that first career win in a charter race. Got some hopefuls back behind as well. Winning team in the 93 car with William Micros back earlier on this season. You've got Michael Wayne Robinson doing the driving duties this week. So if the 93 were to go to victory lane here today, second win would pretty much all but solidify them a spot in the playoffs. And then on the outside of row 2, you've got Daniel Silla, that startup team near the, well, halfway through the first half of the regular season, really. They currently are obviously dead last in the point standings, but who knows? If Daniel Silla, Chris Washer, and Reggie Fogelman can find 2 victories here in the last 5 races of the regular season, who knows? They could be in the playoffs before all is said and done with the checkered flag waving at Auto Club. Completing your top 5 is going to be Kyle Matthews. We saw last week a great performance out of Caleb Vogler. That 0-19 continues to climb up in the points standings. You just kind of get the feeling they might be moments away from finding victory lane for the first time this season. Maybe Matthews will get it done here today in the Kings Island Chevrolet. Now let's take a look at the point standings coming to this one. We're going to do the same thing that we did last week at Kentucky. We're going to show you the point standings on the screen. I'm going to give you what the outlook looks like right now, what the playoff grid would currently be looking like after last week's conclusion. So you've still got your 4 teams at the top in seeds 1 through 4. Your 2-time winning teams, the 78 were the number 1 seed. Still the overall points leading team as well. We'll talk about that in a minute as they extended the points lead last week. 19 team sits in seed number 2, 95 and 77 in seeds 3 and 4. The 47 team with their victory a couple of weeks ago, they currently are the highest in the point standings with 1 victory, so they sit in seed number 5. Behind them, you got the 8 team, the 93 team. The 38 team is now there with Jordan Lopez, the former champ, picking up the victory last week at Kentucky. So right now, they are slotted in seed number 8, and right now holding the final 2 spots would be the 0-1 team and the 16. That 16, the 31 team, those 2 teams, they seem to always be either just above or just below the cut line. This week, it's the 6 above the cut line, and it's the 31 below the cut line. Right now, they are the first team out that have a victory, 13 points back behind the cut line. The 27 team, after a tough break last week for Alex Tanker, finished dead last in that Kentucky race. They're now below the cut line, 17 points out. Same deal for the 32 team out of Pigeon Racing. They're 17 points back, and the 48 team, they currently sit 22 points back, but all those teams still within striking distance points-wise to move their way above the cut line should they have a decent finish here today. If they get a second win, then they leapfrog all the other drivers ahead of them with a victory, and they move up potentially into the number 3 seed, just between the 19 team and the 95 team. I mentioned, though, about those teams that if they win here today, they could lock up a playoff position. Keep an eye out for the 1 team, the 0-3 team. The 2 team is now up there all of a sudden. Young Motorsports, we talked about first half of this regular season, the struggles they've been having. All of a sudden, the finishes have really been stepping up for that particular group, and they find themselves 12th in the overall stand. So if they go to victory lane, they could be in a playoff spot. You also have to keep in mind as well about a couple of other teams that have been showing some life here near the end of the regular season. The 55 team, the 0-9 team, and the 21 team. I would keep my eyes on all 3 of those teams as well to maybe make a last-ditch effort to find victory lane, maybe get the points necessary with 4 races remaining, and make their way up into a playoff position. But that's it for what your playoff outlook is coming into this race. It could completely look different by the time the checkered flag waves here today. But first, we got to get the green flag waving, and before we can do that, we got to go down for pre-race ceremonies, and let's begin things with tonight's singing of the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Drivers, start your engines!
We'll be talking about more stories and scenarios during the course of this 100 lapper, but it doesn't take them long to get around Martinsville, so let's quickly give you your starting lineup for today's race. It's Patrick Smith, Amanda Evans on row 1, Michael Wayne Robinson and Daniel Silla row 2. Row 3, Kyle Matthews and Tim Walsh, Pedro Lucas and Cody Lamas. Back in row 4 with Phil Parker and Nick Gunther completing the top 10. James Qualls, the inaugural winner here, will start 11th alongside of Cody Smart in row 6. Row 7 with Austin LaPlante and Carter Friesen. Levi McIntyre, Charles Sanford there in row 8. Row 9, Dylan Young and Andrew Lemke. Benny Watson, Dylan Pote complete the top 20 with Keith Batson and Jesse Turner back in row 11. Row 12, Jack Mitchell, Cole Baker. Row 13, Joshua Osborne and Carson Gum. Then you've got Matt Haas, Trey Wright, and Ryan Butcher completing the rest of the 29-car field. Green flags in the air. Let's roll at Martinsville. Lap 1 complete. No caution, but not without incident, as a couple of cars in the wall off of 2 and off of 4. I saw Carter Friesen and Andrew Lemke get the wall off of 2, and we got a car big time in the wall back there. Was that Sanford? I think it was. He's got him wadded up 4 wide, and now Pote gets sent up into him, and that might bring out a yellow. Dylan Pote going to get spun around. No caution. Friesen is spun around. Pote is spun around. And the yellow flag did not wave. Must have been close to the rear of the field. Now the caution is out. And Patrick Smith will lead us back to our first yellow of the day. Well, these guys were adventurous in the early going. 4 wide with them all wadded up. After Charles Sanford got into the wall, and looks like Friesen may have gone around again. A lot of damage on the 44 of Daniel Silla. There's a car that's on pit road. That's the 38 of Trey Wright. Oh, and Dylan Young has got damage on the 2 car. And it looks like they may have wrecked up here on the back straightaway as well under pacing. Jack Mitchell, Andrew Lemke, Carson Gump potentially in this. Well, let's see if we can pinpoint what brought out the caution. It might have been the 44 car, because I don't think the incident we just saw there live with the 6 and the 31, I don't think that brought the yellow flag out. Let's go all the way back to turn 2. See if we can find out how Sanford got into the wall. There you see a little contact between him and Carter Friesen, and the right rear hooks the 03 into the wall, and then Pote bounces off of Matt Haas and off of Andrew Lemke. Everybody trying to figure out where they're all going here, as they are 4 abreast going into turn 3. And I believe it's going to be Dylan Pote and Charles Sanford who make the further contact up here. Andrew Lemke's going to get into the right rear of the 31, shoots him up into the driver's side door of the 03. I thought they'd all keep it together, but then right there, 31 just gets hooked a little too much, and he gets sent sideways. Friesen is spun around there. There's where Lemke got his hood damage, running into the back of Dylan Pote. And even up until all this point, I believe the caution was not out. Now, was the caution out when the 31 was trying to get back turned around, and the 6 was coming into the picture right there? I don't know. Yeah. That's when the caution waved. Now, where is the 44 of Daniel Silla? Because I'm pretty... Oh, yeah. There we go. Caution's already out at this point, and they're racing back. And Daniel gets squeezed up into the wall by Austin LaPlante. Little further contact from Benny Watson, and there's where Dylan Young gets involved. Look out, Joshua Osborne. Little contact there. Oh, and then big hit with the front end for Trey Wright, so that's why Trey was on pit road. Carson Gum, oh my goodness gracious me. I don't know if he made contact or not. If he didn't, it was very close. And look at Ryan Butcher, who started shotgun on the field, saying, well, thank you guys, I'll pick up all of these spots here in that Gatorade Toyota Camry. So all that taking place on one lap, lap 3, bringing out the first caution of the day. And we already have a driver out of the race as a result of it. Jack Mitchell has taken the 0-1 back to the garage area. So that's a tough break there on 2 counts. Number 1, that team was looking for a second win this season. But more importantly, they came into this race in the 9th seed of the playoffs. They were 17 points ahead of the cut line coming into this one. And we saw last week what a last place finish would do in the case of the 27 team, when they ended up falling below the cut line coming into this race. So 0-1 team's going to have some work to do next week at Watkins Glen. Trey Wright did fall a lap down since he came to pit lane when pits were closed. So he will be on the inside of Patrick Smith for this upcoming restart. Michael Wayne Robinson will line up in second, Kyle Matthews third, Amanda Evans fourth, Pedro Lucas in fifth, and it'll be Phil Parker, James Qualls, Levi McIntyre, Tim Walsh, and Cody Smart. The top 10. With a single file restart, we may see some green flag running here at Martinsville. We'll wait and see, though, as Smith leads him into turn 1. Bit of a brake check there on the 93 of Michael Wayne Robinson. That opens up the door down low for Kyle Matthews to sneak to the inside for second place. And oh, we got a spinner. 38 has looped it around, and he got tagged by the 15 of Tim Walsh. Ryan Butcher's on pit lane in the 78 car as well. That looks unscheduled. What happened to the 38? All of a sudden, that car just snapped. Well, they're servicing the 78 car on the right side, so maybe he had a flat. That caution very timely for him. He should stay on the lead lap. Cody Lamas. A lot of damage on that Carvana number 1. They'll try and get that car repaired and back out there. I don't know if he teleported or not. He might have been the first one to make contact with the 38 car. Oh, yeah, actually, I believe he did. All right, so what happens to Trey Wright here? Oh, well, I thought maybe he just snapped around, but I think it was a little bit more than that. Watch the 65. It was outside. They split him 3 wide. And Amanda Evans is going to cut way down to the inside, right across the nose of the 38. And that's what gets him loose and up into the outside wall. Here comes Tim Walsh, the 15. There's the shot from him. And then, watch the bottom of your screen, Cody Lamas up on the high side, trying to find his way around safely, hoping that kind of a self-cleaning racetrack, and unfortunately that wasn't the case. 38 stayed up on the top, and oh man, black smoke erupting from underneath that Chevrolet out of Michael Norman Motorsports. So Cody Lamas, his day, obviously looks like it may be over. Looks like they're showing the black flag for the 78 of Ryan Butcher. He came down pit road and took service when pit lane was closed. The caution was already out. So he will start EOL on the field as a result. And now we will get ready for our second restart of the day. Typical short track, cautions breeding cautions, but we have seen in the past that Martinsville races, late in the going, field gets spread out, and we end up having some pretty good long green flag runs. We'll see if maybe we'll get one here in just a few moments. A couple more drivers receiving some black flags. Looks like Carson Gum received a black flag for some reason in the 19. So he'll have to start shotgun the field. Daniel Silla down pit lane. Tim Walsh. Saw him take that shot there under that wreck over in turn 3, and he's now back in the garage area. The 15 team and the 74 team coming into this race and the remaining races on the schedule, I'm pretty certain now have fallen into the category that they absolutely need a second win if they're going to have a shot of making it into the playoffs. They will not be able to point their way into the postseason. Well, while we've got the opportunity here, let's talk about some Martinsville statistics. Martinsville has been on the schedule pretty much in this slot since the debut season of the Duracell Cup Series. 4 different drivers have gone to victory lane. All 4 participate in the series, but only one of them in the field here today, and currently sits in the 8th position. That is James Qualls, who, when he took the checkered flag here back in Season 1, was driving a Ford. He's back in a Ford here this season, but last time out it was number 11 Castrol GTX Ford Fusion. His then teammate Ryan Acosta was the winner in Season 2. He would eventually go on to win the championship in that year. Jose Mills won this event back in Season 3, and Zach Rogers is the defending winner of this race. You'll see both Jose Mills and Zach Rogers next week when we head to the road course of Watkins Glen. Green flag back in the air once more. 26 drivers still running, 25 of them on the lead lap. Trey Wright, you saw there in the 38, still a lap down to the race leaders. Wadded up back there around the 5th, 6th position. That's Levi McIntyre to the inside of Phil Parker. Pedro Lucas up on the top side in the 21. He gets the wall as McIntyre will try and make the pass on the lap machine of Trey Wright in his attempt to get up there to the top 4, and the caution is already out again, and we got a spinner. Pedro Lucas just got spun off the nose of James Qualls, but nobody hits him. Looks like we're all good. What was this caution for? Oh, Cole Baker. And that car looks like it might have been up and over. Very rarely do you see a flip at a short track, but that roof damage seems to be a pretty clear indicator that that car was up and on its lid, and indeed it was. It was battling for the 13th position, it appears, with Nick Gunther. Got a little loose underneath him, and let's see if he pushes up off of the corner. No, just lost it. Locks up the brakes, saves it. Matt Haas has to avoid, and then, and they came to a stop. Why would he come to a stop? He didn't get rolling again, then Poti gets him in the passenger side door and flips him over. Wow. It was a great save there by Cole Baker, but then the fact that he stopped right in the middle of the racetrack, surprised he didn't try to at least keep that thing going in a forward motion after he had saved the race car, and it has him turtled over there out of turn 2, and subsequently might be out of this race now. It looked like there was some smoke erupting from underneath of that number 11 when it was upside down over in the corner. And looks like they are loading it up on the hook and going to take him back to the garage area. So we've only gotten less than 20 laps under our belt, and there's already 4 drivers that are back behind the wall. Cole Baker, Tim Walsh, Cody Lamas, and Jack Mitchell. So let's talk a little bit more about some Martinsville statistics. Chevrolet has never taken a checkered flag here in the Duracell Cup Series. Ford won the first 3 races, or the first, it's won, let me try that again. Ford has won 2 races. They won the first race and the third race. Season 2, Ryan Acosta's victory was in a Toyota. And of course, last season, Zach Rogers was driving a Dodge for Bulldog Motorsports when he took the checkered flag. A lot of people may say that a short track race can be pretty inconsequential when it comes to who makes it to the playoffs and eventually the championship. But if you look back at Season 2, Ryan Acosta, his victory at Martinsville locked him into the playoffs. He eventually went on to win the championship. It was the only win recorded by the 10 car that season. Kind of shades of the inaugural champion Chris Dollerton when the only victory he had that season was at the Springfield Mile. So could we end up seeing a driver that goes to victory lane here today be the precursor to the Season 5 champion? We will have to wait and see. Lights are out all the way around the racetrack. They are out atop the pace car, which means we go back green flag racing. Dylan Poti now has fallen a lap down with Trey Wright, so we will have 22 drivers on the lead lap. Correction, 23 when we go back green. And Patrick Smith has been enjoying these pace laps out in front. He's led all 18 laps so far. Green flag back in the air. Well, actually, he's actually led 19 laps of the 20. James Qualls led a lap at some point. Didn't see that. That's what our scoring is saying. So these drivers must have... No, these guys haven't been on pit road, so I don't know when Qualls led that lap. Kyle Matthews into the wall. Make that Patrick Smith into the wall. Kyle Matthews gets by him, rather. And Kyle Matthews will go to the race lead. Michael Wayne Robinson will now slide by for second. And they are wadded up here, and we ended up having Levi McIntyre into the wall, courtesy of Pedro Lucas. Further back, Austin LaPlante and Carter Friesen were mixing it up. These guys are not giving an inch. All trying to make their way through, and now Qualls is on pit road in the 17. Carson Gumb's on pit road in the 19. Not sure what's going on with those pit stops. They are obviously unscheduled. Being told that the 19 had a black flag. He had to come down and serve. Same for the 17. 78's on pit road. They had a penalty. And I see the 74 on pit lane. Waiting to hear if maybe they received a penalty. So a lot going on right here. No, 74 still sitting on pit road, so that's much more than a penalty for Phil Parker. But we still stay under the greens. Patrick Smith got back around Michael Wayne Robinson for second place. Levi McIntyre and Nick Gunther. This is for fifth. Gunther got the wall off of turn 2, opens the door for McIntyre to move on by. Gunther pounds the wall that time off of turn 4 as Joshua Osborne will now look to take advantage for sixth place. And now Robinson and Smith for second. So Qualls, Gum have fallen a lap down apiece after serving their penalties. Caution's out. Ryan Butcher fell 2 laps down, as did Phil Parker. And Dylan Poteet almost lost a second lap there under green. The caution coming out and saving him, as now he's down pit road. There's a lot of damaged goods back here at the rear of the field, so it's kind of a plethora of who could be the cause of this, our fourth caution of the day. Let's see if we can go back and find out who exactly it was. Maybe the 48 of Austin LaPlante? And indeed it was. 3 wide through 1 and 2. Daniel Silla on the bottom, Amanda Evans on the top. And LaPlante, with that longer run, those rear tires just not having the grip they had earlier, just really warming them up. Up the track, squeezes Amanda Evans into the wall. Contact from the 74 of Phil Parker loops him around, and then Carson Gum comes in and gets a shot with the left front. So more damage added on to the 19, that Toontown Chevrolet. So caution out for the 4th time here today. We're a quarter of the way through this race, amazingly enough. That's the one good thing about having cautions at a short track. It doesn't take very long to get back green. Pacing laps tick away pretty quickly. I mean, under green flag conditions, it takes these drivers less than 20 seconds to make a lap around Martinsville Speedway. But Kyle Matthews becomes the 3rd different leader on the day now. And I mentioned, they've really been picking up the finishes the last couple of weeks. 2 weeks ago, Stephen Pollard III had that runner-up finish to Stephen Colon at Nashville Superspeedway. Last week, great run by Caleb Vogler at Kentucky. And now Kyle Matthews out in front leading this race at Martinsville. It closes out the deal. That 09 team, very much so, could be in the conversation for a playoff berth. Kyle Matthews has been in the playoffs before, but neither of his 2 rookie teammates have, obviously, because being rookies, it is their first full-time season. If we look ahead on the schedule, I kind of touched on this a little bit after the conclusion of last week's race at Kentucky, but man, it is a very interesting schedule down the home stretch of this regular season. You've got Martinsville today. Next week, we go to the final road course stop of the regular season at Watkins Glen. The following week, it's the 2.5-mile tricky triangle of Pocono. And then we end out the season at Bristol, but not just regular Bristol, the dirt version of Bristol. And then the regular season finale at Auto Club Speedway. So, I mean, technically, in a way, a speedway / super speedway. Going to be a wild card race and could have a last-minute storyline of some driver and some team making their way into the playoffs. Points have really been close amongst 6-7 drivers, some above the cut line, some below the cut line, to be able to point their way in, and I'm expecting it's going to be still just as close when we get to that regular season finale. 6 lap cars will be on the inside line. We have 25 drivers still running, 19 on the lead lap as Kyle Matthews will try and get away from the mayhem behind him. Patrick Smith trying to get around the outside of Phil Parker. Michael Wayne Robinson has to deal with the 95 of Cody Smart, and that is a battle for the 3rd position. 3 wide further back there, Levi McIntyre almost into the, well, he is into the wall there, courtesy of the lap machine of Trey Wright, and he's going to lose spots as a result. Nick Gunther is going to go on by in the 55. Joshua Osborne looks to capitalize as well. As again, McIntyre and Trey Wright, former teammates, making further contact through turn 2. Keith Batson now to the inside of the 99. Ooh, who again gets the wall. Batson will move up to 7th as a result. Joshua Osborne trying to get by the lap machine of Ryan Butcher. He'll set his sights further up there on Nick Gunther for position. Ryan Butcher's coming to pit road. 3 wide further back here. Carter Friesen's got his teammate Dylan Poteet up top. Austin LaPlante on the bottom. Contact off of turn 4 as Friesen gets into Lemke. Ooh, Lemke almost drove it into the back of Austin LaPlante as he'll get to the inside of the 48. Further up, Jesse Turner into the wall off the nose of Matt Haas. They're 3 wide now, almost 4 wide going into turn 3. Didn't work the first time, certainly not going to work the second time, and now Turner's going to get spun in front of LaPlante, and that should potentially bring out the yellow flag, and indeed it does. Fifth caution of the day as we race back to the start-finish line. Kyle Matthews going to pick up the pace car on the back straightaway. Well, we had a couple near moments there where a caution more than likely coulda, woulda, shoulda come out and didn't. But eventually, we knew that it was going to be too good to last. Yellow flag waves, and drivers, at least up at the front, will take this opportunity to come down pit road. Kyle Matthews going to be the one to lead them down. Matthews started this race from 5th, so he'll have a pretty decent pit stall here. Patrick Smith right behind him as the number 1 pit stall. We'll see if that's going to be a difference maker with who gets the better launch off of pit lane. Of course, 2 drivers that have received damage, they may spend a little bit of extra time getting that damage repaired here. They may not. I was a little concerned there when I saw Daniel Silla was going to come into his pit stall. Kind of boxes in the 09, and the battle off pit road was close. But I believe Matthews indeed got it over Patrick Smith. As a matter of fact, Smith might have lost 2nd to Cody Smart. No, he did not. He did beat the 95 off of pit lane. So it will be Matthews, Smith, and Smart when we go back green. Now let's jump back and take a look at the replay of what brought out the yellow flag. We saw it pretty much take place live, but we'll go back and look at it once again anyway. Jesse Turner was running in the, well, around the 10th, 11th position at the time. Stuck on the top side of a 3-wide situation, and Matt Haas going to squeeze him up there. LaPlante trying to figure out where to go. Trey Wright and Carson Gum looking to do the same. Fortunately, really just a single car incident there. And Turner refires the race car and continues on. He lost about 7-8 spots as a result. But doesn't look like it's any terminal damage, and he should be able to continue. One team that is not having a good day right now is the 78 team, who, when that incident took place, was on pit road. They have been having some problems with the race officials here. They got called for a penalty, a black flag penalty, had to come down and serve it. And they've been on and off of pit road. They've lost 3 laps since the start of this race. Race didn't start out all that good for them either. They started this race shotgun on the field, so it's just kind of insult to injury there. And the reason why it's a tough break for them right now is because they had such good performances the last couple of weeks. They have really pulled away from the rest of the teams in the overall point standings. Coming into today, it is 31 points from the 78 team back to the 47 team, second in the point standings. And of course, we've talked about those 15 bonus points to the team that wins the regular season championship. Very important bonus points, and 78 might lose some of that gap after all is said and done here today. Still only 4 cars back in the garage area, though, if you're just joining us. Cole Baker, Tim Walsh, Cody Lamas, and Jack Mitchell. 25 drivers continue on. We've got 19 of them currently scored on the lead lap. Kyle Matthews is the leader. Patrick Smith in second. Cody Smart third. Then Michael Wayne Robinson, Nick Gunther complete the top 5. Keith Batson, Joshua Osborne, Benny Watson, Amanda Evans, and Pedro Lucas that is your top 10 as green flag comes back out on lap 42, our 5th restart of the day. Kyle Matthews again going to try and clear himself of the traffic. Looks like he succeeds in doing so. Patrick Smith not so lucky. He's kind of wadded back, and we got a spinner on the back straightaway. That's Benny Watson going around right in front of traffic. Nobody hits him. Caution will come out, and Kyle Matthews will lead us back to the yellow flag once more. And Kyle Matthews keeps on saying, hey, if you guys want to keep more laps under pacing that I don't have to defend this race lead, have at it. Let's go back and see what happened there. Caught the tail end of it and saw the initial contact just on the back top of the screen, though I did not see who it was that spun him around. Benny Watson was running up inside of the top 10. He restarted in 8th, and it looks like it's going to be Amanda Evans that's going to get him. It was a 3-wide battle, actually, up inside of the top 10. Almost 4 wide there with Lemke, Lucas, Evans, and Watson. And Pedro Lucas is actually going to be the perpetrator in some way. Pushes Amanda Evans up into the left rear quarter panel of the 32. And this is amazing. Look at Matt Haas. My goodness, get that wheel yanked back to the right, boy. Nearly had his race come to an end right there. And Benny Watson almost did too. A great job of avoiding the spinning 32 car, that Hers Chevrolet out of Pigeon Racing. Of course, that team right now behind the cut line coming to this race, 17 points back. They're looking for a good outing here today to get themselves back into contention. A win would certainly make everything better. But right now, it looks like Watson's going to be all the way back in 19th for the upcoming restart. Now, there's a few cars up here that are 1 or more laps down that don't look like they're badly damaged. I think they ended up getting called for penalties or something, and that's why they were on pit road and lost the subsequential lap and or laps. But the 74 of Phil Parker, right now 2 laps down in 24th, and the 17 of James Qualls, the first car 1 lap down in 20th. They look like if they got a decent enough jump that their cars are not damaged, they could get around Kyle Matthews with the advantage of the inside line in these restarts, maybe catch a caution and get back to the tail end of the lead lap. But these quick yellows are not helping them, and Kyle Matthews has done a good job here the last couple of restarts of getting a good enough launch to keep them at bay. We'll see now, though. We're going to have the 74 as the lead car on the inside line. And maybe he'll be able to get around the 09. The 78's got damage, so the 17 may be boxed in, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens here. Well, the battle coming into tonight, below the cut line, was the teammates out of Pigeon Racing. The 6 car above the cut line, 13 points ahead of the 31 car. But right now it is advantage 6 car, as Carter Friesen currently holds the final spot inside of the top 10. Dylan Poteet is a lap down in the 21st position. Trying to see about any teams that might have a shot of pointing their way up into the into the playoffs with a victory, and the one that I'm looking at right now potentially could be that 27 car of Joshua Osborne, who's going to be restarting in 7th. So it may be a battle between the 6 and the 27. The 27 team comes into this race 17 points behind the 6 team in the overall point standings. Kyle Matthews has been really good on these restarts. He's about to get us back underway here, nearing the halfway point at Martinsville. Green flag flies once more. Another great launch for Kyle Matthews. He will clear Phil Parker, and Patrick Smith is left high and dry again, back in traffic. It is only lap cars he has to deal with right now. The driver he has to concern himself with, though, soon might be that Valvoline Ford Mustang of Michael Wayne Robinson, the 3rd place driver, who's dealing with the lap machine of James Qualls. Now a nice run there through the center of 1 and 2. Tries to get the left rear quarter panel of Patrick Smith, but nothing doing. Boy, they are wadded up 3 wide further back there. Charles Sanford was in the middle of a mess. Carson Gum is as well. Oh, Osborne into the wall, clips Carson Gum, but they all keep it going. Everybody stacks up 3 wide, 2, 3 rows deep. This is going to be sketchy coming out of turn 2. Turner bounces off of Pedro Lucas. He saves it, but Daniel Silla and Carter Friesen do not. And that will constitute a yellow flag. Caution is out. Silla's going to get the car refired. And LaPlante. Ooh, we got some contact back there. Cody Smart and Michael Wayne Robinson, but they sort it. Not sure why LaPlante was all the way back here, unless he had an incident that we didn't see. I don't think it brought out the caution, though. I think what we just saw brought out the caution. Kyle Matthews will lead us under pacing once more. Let's see if we can find out what happened to the 48. I also see the 2 of Dylan Young on pit road. So what happened here? All right, so LaPlante had some kind of a penalty that he came down and served. What about Dylan Young in the 2? Was he involved in this wreck? Oh, he was. I didn't see him get the tail end of the wreck with Daniel Silla and Carter Friesen, but he was indeed involved, and that's why he was on pit road. Here it is, off of turn 2 once again. But look up ahead, Jesse Turner and Charles Sanford making contact. Turner into Lucas, nearly loops it, but the outside wall saves him. Daniel Silla, though, squeezes Carter Friesen up into the wall. They spin around, and there's the shot that Dylan Young took. Looks like the 44. That might have been why he was slow to refire. Looks like his day may be over. Daniel Silla had a great qualifying effort today. Rolled off the grid from the 4th position. And I am being told that he has indeed brought his car down pit road and has made the left-hand turn to the garage. So he will join Baker, Walsh, Lamas, and Mitchell in the infield before the conclusion of this race. As we now enter into the second half. Midway through today's race here at Martinsville, we're working our 7th caution of the day. We have only had 3 different leaders up at the front of the field. Patrick Smith led the first 19. James Qualls took a turn out in front for a lap. I'm still trying to figure out where that was. As up to that point, nobody had come down pit road, so I don't know where Qualls led that lap, but I mean, that's a very valuable bonus point. And Kyle Matthews has had the race lead for the last 32 laps. Right now would stand to get the bonus point for most laps led. If he leads the next, I believe the next 20 laps here, he will have locked that bonus point up. There will be no way that another driver can lead any more than 50 laps. So Daniel Silla out of the race. That's going to help drivers like Qualls, Poteet, Wright, Gum to move up a couple of positions here. Still waiting to see if Dylan Young's going to return back to the racetrack. Appears that I'm being told he has left pit road. He lost a lap. So let's see if we can quickly give you a full field rundown of where everybody is for this upcoming restart, as Patrick Smith's got to get himself figured out here. He's supposed to be up on the top side. Kyle Matthews the leader, Patrick Smith in 2nd, Cody Smart 3rd, Michael Wayne Robinson 4th, Nick Gunther 5th, Keith Batson 6th, Levi McIntyre in 7th, Matt Haas, Amanda Evans, and Joshua Osborne. That is the top 10. What is Patrick Smith doing? He's in the wrong lane. And teammate Ryan Butcher's not going to let him on up. These two have some beef, let's not forget. Where was it? Was it back at Nashville? It was a short track. I'm trying to remember what short track it was, but those two got together at one point. Green flag back in the air. I don't know if that 77 might get a penalty. He was lined up in the wrong lane, and he's going for the race lead on Kyle Matthews. I'm not sure how I feel about that. We'll see if any fallout takes place with Patrick Smith making the move he did. He was not lined up in the correct lane, and Kyle Matthews says, all right, you're going to pass me that way. I'm going to pass you back the legit way. And he's going to take no prisoners, drives it deep into the corner on Patrick Smith, forces him up the racetrack into the wall. And Matthews going to take the race lead back, letting Patrick Smith know what he thought of that move. Now Phil Parker trying to get his lap back. James Qualls looking to do the same. Caution is out. Phil Parker might beat the 09 back to the line. Qualls might do the same, and they do. They're back on the lead lap there. Great job by both of them battling back. Ooh, Patrick Smith going to pull alongside of Kyle Matthews. Might not have been too thrilled. Oh, we got a spinner back there. Cody Smart getting spun off the nose of Kyle Matthews. Short tractors breeding short tempers here today, that's for sure. Who the heck brought the caution out? Well, could be anybody back here. But I think it could possibly be a good candidate, be the 38 of Trey Wright. There may be a lot of fallout this week. Yeah, it was Trey. 4-wide situation again. This time it's Jesse Turner on the bottom, Sanford in the middle, another groove up Trey Wright, and then Matt Haas on the very top side. Sanford's going to kind of clear this, but then Trey Wright forces the 8 up into the wall, spins around off his nose. Amanda Evans got a little piece of it. Andrew Lemke's going to get involved, and Benny Watson just barely gets through. Dylan Young's going to get a piece again. That 2 car has been a battering ram. Last couple of cautions. Carter Friesen's flying in. Is there a lane? Oh, there barely is. Barely a lane opens up on the top side for him to get through. And that brings us under our 8th caution of the day. Well, I mentioned it at the top of the race. This track has had green flag runs, but we have to bear in mind this is a short track. And short tracks, more often than not, see the caution wave quite a bit. We've had some great racing all the way through the field here on those short spurt runs, though. And that last run, who knows? That pass, that battle, that bit of controversy could be a huge deciding factor into the outcome of today's race. We'll see. But you saw James Qualls and Phil Parker get by the race leader to the start-finish line. So James Qualls is back on the lead lap now in 18th. Phil Parker is now only 1 lap down. And it looks like he will restart in 20 seconds. That was a huge pass for the 17 of James Qualls, the inaugural Martinsville winner. Don't know if he's got enough laps to get up here and win this race, but certainly could have enough to get up inside of the top 10, which is a far sight better than outside the top 20, which is where he was running about 20 laps ago. Nobody out of the race after that incident. With Qualls back in the lead lap, we have 18 drivers that'll be on the same lap as leader Kyle Matthews. Let's give a shout out to some drivers that may not have gotten some TV time yet today, but they have been quietly up inside the top 5, top 10 for a majority of this. Nick Gunther, great run here today for the 55 car. They're trying to get their first win on the season. They're 16th in the overall points. How about Keith Batson today? Great run for the Nathan's Hot Dogs Ford Mustang. That 39 team struggling in points, 23rd in the overall standings, but there he sits. And Cody Smart, right now in the 6th position, trying to get the 95 car, who has not made every start this season, to be the first 3-time winning team in Duracell Cup Series Season 5. Lap 64 on the board. Green flag back in the air. Kyle Matthews did not get as good a start that time on Ryan Butcher as he would have liked, but he might have him cleared off of 2. No, he won't. Ryan Butcher's going to stay alongside, and he might open up the door for his teammate Patrick Smith to go for the race lead. They were 3 wide further back. Oh, into the wall goes Kyle Matthews. Smith's going to take the top spot going into turn 1. And Matthews almost ran into him. Now Smith trying to get by his teammate. Put him a lap down. Carson Gum going to get spun in the back straightaway off the nose of Keith Batson. Is the caution out, though? No, they saved it. No yellow. Smith going to lead him back to the line. Now the lap machine of Butcher between himself and Kyle Matthews. Matthews might have to worry about Michael Wayne Robinson behind him in a potential battle for 2nd place. We're going to drop back here because this is where it's all going on. Benny Watson Working his way by Jesse Turner. That was for 9th. Charles Samper moves up into the top 10 now, getting by the 47 as well. Keith Batson, Cody Smart, Levi McIntyre almost wrecking each other. That's for 7th on back. McIntyre into Benny Watson after contact with Cody Smart. Leaning on each other, bouncing off each other, using every bit of the racetrack, using these walls off the corner. And somehow, someway, all keeping it together. Kyle Matthews has gotten around Ryan Butcher. Michael Wayne Robinson has done the same. So now the top 3 are clear of traffic. Patrick Smith looks back in his rearview mirror. Kyle Matthews trying to reel him back in. Patrick Smith's got damage on the left side, on the right side. Kyle Matthews has damage just on the right side. I don't know if damage level is going to play a factor into who is faster and who is not. That last time by, Patrick Smith was a 10th quicker. Let's see about this time by. This time by, they ran just about equal lap times. Matthews that time just ran his fastest lap of the race, as a matter of fact. As Ryan Butcher got back around Michael Wayne Robinson, Robinson then made the pass on him once again, trying to keep the 78 in his rearview mirror and focus on the top 2. Nick Gunther's all by himself, holding down the 4th position, and Amanda Evans has worked her way back now up into the top 5 in 5th place. Got through all that mayhem. After she restarted back, I think it was in the 9th or 10th position there, coming to that last green. James Qualls got back in the lead lap, and he is working his way to the front, opening the door for his teammate Joshua Osborne as well there to the inside of Charles Samper. Qualls restarted 18th. He's up to 11th. And more spots up ahead as well with Andrew Lemke and Cody Smart. And that 17 car looks relatively clean as well. So again, if damage level plays into speed, that 17 might be one of the fastest cars in the field right now. Michael Wayne Robinson is losing ground to the top 2. Butcher got back by him. Now the lap machine of Phil Parker makes a pass, so we may have a battle for 3rd between Robinson and Gunther here in a few moments. As Matthews is losing ground to Patrick Smith. What was about 0.8 of a second a few laps ago is now opened up to over a second. The thing that we have to worry about now, though, if we continue into a green flag run trend, is Patrick Smith catching up to traffic. And I noticed the one driver he would be catching up to first is Dylan Young. Now, there is no team alliance, no manufacturer alliance between Kyle Matthews and Dylan Young, but they are very good friends. They co-own a YouTube channel. Would Dylan Young play defense for his friend Kyle Matthews here to try and help him pick up a victory? This is not a battle for position. Ryan Butcher is 4 laps down. Phil Parker is 1 lap down. But Phil Parker trying to get himself up there, maybe get in front of the 2 race leaders, catch a caution, and be back in the lead lap before all is said and done. That last time by, he just ran his fastest lap of the race. As Smith has caught Dylan Young. Not in the best of spots, but he is going to get alongside of him here out of turn 2, and looks like he will complete the pass relatively easily. Now we'll see if Dylan Young gets out of the way for Kyle Matthews. Could this allow Matthews to close up the gap between himself and the 77? Easily going to make the pass here into turn 1 is Kyle Matthews, and he didn't really gain anything, didn't lose anything amazingly on the 77. Looks like visibly he closed up. We'll see about this next time by. Next car that Patrick Smith would have to deal with would be Carson Gunn, but I believe the caution is out. So that changes everything up right there. Who was it for, is the question. I don't see any smoke or any skid marks. Might have been a half spin. Patrick Smith certainly didn't want to see that caution come out. I guarantee you of that. Because that puts Kyle Matthews right back on his bumper for the upcoming restart, which will be with less than 20 to go. So what brought this yellow flag out? Wondering about the 95 of Cody Smart. He's quite a ways back, and he was up, I believe, just outside the top 10, and exactly that is who it was. 3 wide in the middle, turn around the top, Osborne on the bottom. We've seen this pretty much the entire course of the day. That car on the outside gets the wall, gets squeezed up, and the car in the middle pays the price getting looped around. Contact there for Pedro Lucas, not much, just a mere tap. Cody Smart will get the thing refired and continue on. He was running the last time by in 14th, across the line in 18th, so he only lost a few positions. He was starting to free fall back through the field. So it looked like the handling of that race car, maybe even just the damage he has sustained during the course of this race, was finally catching up to him on the long run. But he will continue on, and this gives us a chance with 20 to go. Let's take a look at who is running where here, potentially for the final restart of the day. I say potentially, I don't expect it might be the final restart of the day, but you never know. We just had that long green flag run there. Patrick Smith will be the one to lead us back to green. Now he and Kyle Matthews, after Smith take the lead back, they're still in pretty good battle for who's going to get that bonus point for most laps led. Matthews led 42 before he gave the lead back up to Patrick Smith. Smith's about to come out and lead his 38th, so it's really close here between those two. Michael Wayne Robinson is in third, Nick Gunther fourth, Amanda Evans in fifth. Sixth is Keith Batson. Seventh is going to be Benny Watson. Levi McIntyre 8th. 9th, Andrew Lemke, and James Qualls is now up inside the top 10. What a comeback run for him. Carter Friesen's in 11th, Charles Sanford 12th, Joshua Osborne in 13th, Jesse Turner 14th, Austin LaPlante in 15th, Matt Haas 16th, Pedro Lucas 17th, and Cody Smart is in 18th. He is the last car on the lead lap. This restart will come with more than 10 laps to go, so the lap machines will line up to the inside at least this time. Phil Parker is the first car one lap down in 19th, Dylan Poteet in 20th, Trey Wright 21st, Carson Gum in 22nd. Then 2 laps down in 23rd is Dylan Young. 4 laps down in 24th is Ryan Butcher. We've had the caution come out for 9 times today. 5 drivers, as a result of the wrecks, are back in the garage area. Daniel Silla, Cole Baker, Tim Walsh, Cody Lamas, and Jack Mitchell will finish 25th through 29th. All right, so this time the lead lap cars are on the top side, and the lap cars are on the inside. Patrick Smith at least knew which line he needed to be in this time, as he will have Dylan Young's Ford to the bottom when the green flag waves. It will be officially 17 laps to go when the green flag waves once more here today at Martinsville. Patrick Smith's going to try and get himself a good jump and leave second on back to deal with traffic. Green flag in the air, and top 3, top 4 are all going to clear traffic. Top 5 might clear traffic by the time they get to turn 1. Nope, just the top 4 as they're 3 wide around that 5th position. And now 4 wide. Can they make it through? They're leaning on each other. Oh, Batson into Watson. He's going to go around. That's going to bring out the caution. McIntyre has spun the front straightaway as well. Yellow flag going to wave. We're racing back to the caution. Nick Gunther muscling his way by Patrick Smith for second. How about the 55? And he's going to take second place back here to the caution. Matthews took the lead back. Smith, in a matter of a couple of corners, goes from the lead back to third. And Gunther is now up there with a shot of winning this race. And the upcoming restart now will be single file, because we should restart within 10 to go. How about that? Talk about how the landscape of the playoffs can change. Well, how about the landscape of this race? Let's go back and see what happened here. You kind of got the feeling with them going 3 wide into turn 3, nothing good was going to happen out of turn 4. Top of your screen, you'll see the contact there. Keith Batson and Amanda Evans. We're going to focus on the 99, I believe, by McIntyre, see how he's involved. I thought they were going to save it right here when Batson got into Watson. Looked like he was going to save it, but no. Amanda Evans spins him around. McIntyre pulls low to avoid. He gets into James Qualls, and that's what spins him. Everybody, though, for the most part, Pedro Lucas, Carter Friesen, they get through, and everybody else comes to a stop and waits for them to refire. So everybody realizing we're getting down to the closing stages. You don't want to take yourself out of this race if you've come this far and are still on the lead lap with a shot of getting a decent finish up inside of the top 10, maybe even the top 5. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry if it seems like favoritism. It really is not, but I just love to watch a driver be able to have a horrible start, and next thing you know, they're up there in the hunt for the victory. I can't help but admire the job James Qualls has done here. Got trapped a lap down, had to serve a penalty under green. Got the lap back, beating the race leader back to the caution. Restarted back in 18th. Then we saw him up in 15th. Then we saw him up in 10th. He's going to restart in 6th position. I think if you told James Qualls 20 laps into this event when he was trapped a lap down, hey, you're going to get a top 10 run out of this, he would call you crazy. But that's why you never give up in these races. Same deal goes for Kyle Matthews. I mean, he lost the race lead to Patrick Smith. Smith was pulling away by over a second. The caution comes out. They bunch up for the restart, and he is now back out leading this one. And he will be getting this restart back underway with less than 10 to go. A couple of important notes about that. We are going to have the lead lap cars and the lap down cars all lined up single file together. So the top 4 are going to be clear of lap traffic. Benny Watson in 5th place. On back through him, they're going to have, I believe, 3 or 4 lap machines that they will have to deal with before they can deal with any lead lap cars up ahead. Phil Parker, Dylan Young, Ryan Butcher, I believe, are in the middle of that. I think Trey Wright might be as well. No, actually, I believe it's just those 3 lap machines, the 74, the 78, and the 2. And the other important thing is, it is, as I said, going to be a single file restart. So maybe, with it not being double file with lap machines on the inside, maybe we have a chance of this final run to the checkers taking place under green flag conditions. We're going to find out, though, because the lights out are atop the pace car. It will be a 10-lap shootout, potentially, to finish out tonight's race from the Martinsville Speedway. Nope, it's not 3 lap cars between 4th and 5th. It's 5 lap cars. Dylan Poteet and Trey Wright are both there as well. So it may just be a 4-horse race at the front. Matthews, Gunther, Smith, and Robinson all looking for their first wins on the season. For Gunther, looking for the first win of his career. He gets us back underway behind Kyle Matthews. As Matthews tries to gun it off a turn 2, and looks like he will gap himself back to the 55. Battle may be for second. Patrick Smith on the back bumper of the Square D Chevrolet. And he will look to the inside going into turn 1. Completes the pass. Gunther back to 3rd. Brushes the wall. Loses momentum. Here comes Robinson now for the 3rd spot. James Qualls is up to 5th. And he's only got a couple lap machines between himself and the top 4. Does he have enough time? I don't think he does. Might need another caution here, but if a caution comes out, well, there's the caution there. I was going to say, if a caution comes out within the next 3 laps or so, race will end under yellow. We might get another restart here. That might not have been what Kyle Matthews wanted to see. I still have to hold him off one more time. Oh, Keith Batson's on pit road in the 39. He got a penalty, we're being told. Potential restart violation for him. But I believe he just served it, and so therefore he will stay on the lead lap. So that caution saves him. Who'd the caution come out for, though, is the question. And maybe the 8 of Matt Haas. Let's find out. Nope, it was not Matt Haas. It, I believe, was the 95 of Cody Smart. This was off of turn 4. Trey Wright in the 38. Oh, nope, Charles Samper, actually. Runs into the left rear of the 38 car, and he's going to get looped around as a result. So Charles Samper brings out this yellow and gets us ready for another restart. His teammate Kyle Matthews, not certain if he will be happy about this upcoming restart or if he would have liked to have had this thing finish under green. Not going to get much of a choice, though. Next flag will end the race. This much we know. This is going to be the final restart of the day. As Carson Gum is coming down pit road, some pretty extensive front-end damage on his machine. I think we had a stack up under pacing. Carson was already a lap down in 21st, so it looks like he will drop back to potentially 22nd. So Kyle Matthews is looking for his first win on the season. Patrick Smith looking for his first win on the season. And Michael Wayne Robinson looking for his first win on the season. They have all been to victory lane in the past. Nick Gunther, however, is trying to look for his first career victory. You know, we ended up having a stretch there about 5-6 weeks ago where there were a lot of first-time winners. And then the last couple of weeks, it's been the veterans that have seemed to step up and step to the forefront. Yeah, Jordan Lopez win last week. Ryan Butcher won a couple of weeks ago, so you know, the veterans realizing, hey, we need to start getting wins to put ourselves in playoff position. Well, you got two veterans up here at the front. Kyle Matthews has been the Duracell Cup Series since Season 1. Patrick Smith's been the Duracell Cup Series since Season... I think last year, actually, was his rookie season. And Michael Wayne Robinson last year was his rookie season as well. He was in a part-time, well, not a part-time schedule, I shouldn't say that. He made a partial schedule starts in the Charter Series. He was a non-charter driver, but he did find victory lane a couple of times last year. Gunther, on the other hand, has never made a start at Martinsville in Duracell Cup Series competition. And James Qualls back there, I think he's run out of time now. He's going to have 2 lap machines between himself and 4th place, but certainly going to be pleased with a 5th place run if he can hold on to it. How about Jesse Turner? He was a couple of cautions here tonight. He's up in 6th. Benny Watson in 7th. We saw him spun around the back straightaway. Amanda Evans, Andrew Lemke, Cody Smart. That's the top 10. It's a green-white checker to finish it out here today at Martinsville. And Kyle Matthews may have just gotten the restart of the year. Pulls away by almost a full car length down the backstretch. This time by, he'll either see the white flag or the caution flag. If the caution comes out, it ends the race. If it's the white flag, he's got 0.526 miles to hold off Patrick Smith. Indeed, it will be the white flag displayed over the hood. Smith got a great run on him here through 1 and 2. Caution's out, doesn't matter. We're still racing back to the line. Smith's got one more shot here into 3 and 4. Matthews drives it deep. Can he get back to the line first? Yes, he will. Kyle Matthews is going to win here today at Martinsville. His first win of the season, the first win of the season for the 09 team. And now, S3 Motorsports says, don't forget about us. They may be putting themselves into the playoff picture with this victory here tonight. What a battle here this evening for Kyle Matthews and Patrick Smith. Those two were pretty much duking it out the entire night. Matthews leading a race high 59 laps, 40 laps led by Patrick Smith. The only other driver who led a lap here this evening was James Qualls. And he battled back from a lap down to finish it officially in the 6th position. Standing should be official, I do believe, as they're waiting for everybody to cross the start-finish line. They're going to be showing some drivers a lap down here, but I believe that 18 cars finished on the lead lap. So the scoring is not exactly correct, just based off of when that caution came out and everything. So Kyle Matthews with the victory. Patrick Smith will bring it home in 2nd. Michael Wayne Robinson 3rd. Nick Gunther dropped to 4th, but a great run for him. Jesse Turner got 5th from Qualls in the closing stages. Qualls will finish in 6th. Amanda Evans in 7th. 8th place for Benny Watson. Cody Smart in 9th. And Pedro Lucas is going to bring it home inside of the top 10. If you're looking for a driver that picked their way through the field here today, it would have been Jesse Turner. Started 22nd and finished in 5th. Look at the rest of the drivers, where they finished. Osborne, Lemke, McIntyre, LaPlante, Sanford, they all finished in the top 15. Friesen, that 6 car, just above the cut line, coming into this race, 16th position. finished not too far behind the 27, finished ahead of the 31. 32 finished ahead of them, but not by much, 8 positions, and then the 48 car finished 2 positions ahead, so I think the 6 car might still be up in the playoffs, might still be up in that final spot, but it all really depends on that 09. The 09, where were they? They were 20 points back coming into this race. I think that Kyle Matthews may have put that 09 up into a playoff position, and the 6 car might be the first car out after this one. Potentially. Maybe it's the 01, because the 01 of Mitchell finished dead last. Well, it's going to get a landscape change again, that's for certain. And next week, it's another interesting racetrack, Watkins Glen. So we will see what happens there. Take a look at the rest of the finishing results here and the drivers that finished out of the race. What a battle here today at Martinsville. Kyle Matthews with the victory. First win on the season for him. First win on the season overall for S3 Motorsports, and potentially a playoff clinching victory. Only time will tell. Thank you all for tuning in to today's race from Martinsville. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We showed you your full finish results. We'll show you your point standings after the conclusion of this race next week during the pre-race of Watkins Glen. Hope you will join us for that. Until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching another broadcast of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. Only 4 races left until the playoffs begin here for the Duracell Cup Series.